We thought it was over when we left that old farmhouse, packed our bag, locked the door, and swore we'd never look back. We were wrong. Something followed us home. Muddy handprints appeared on our clean white walls. Whispers echoed in the dead of night. If you've ever felt something brush past you when you're alone, don't turn around. It's standing right behind you. A fresh start was what we needed after everything at the farmhouse. We found a new place, bright, modern, no dark history. The kind of house you see in magazines. My wife, Sarah, smiled for the first time in months. My daughter, Lily, ran through the empty rooms, laughing. Even Mom, who'd been through so much, seemed lighter. We believed the weird stuff was behind us. That first night, we slept soundly. Or so we thought. It started small. The living room light flickered for no reason. I'd flip the switch, and it'd steady then blink again when I walked away. At night, I'd hear footsteps echoing down the hall. Slow, deliberate, like someone pacing. Sarah said it was the house settling. Old pipes, creaky floors. We were exhausted from the move. Imagining things. That's what I told myself. But deep down, I wasn't so sure. The next morning, I woke up to a sting on my arm. Long. Red scratches ran from my elbow to my wrist. Deep, like claw marks. Sarah frowned. Asked if I'd rolled into something sharp. Lily suggested a cat, but we didn't have one. I laughed it off, probably scraped myself unpacking. But when I showered, the marks burned, like they were fresh. That night, I checked the locks twice. I woke up at 2 a.m., heart racing. A whisper, soft and sharp, right by my ear. Words I couldn't make out, like a radio stuck between stations. I froze, eyes scanning the dark. Sarah was asleep next to me. The house was dead silent. I held my breath, waiting. Nothing. Just my pulse hammering in my ears. I didn't sleep again that night. Around 3 a.m. a few nights later, I heard children's laughter. Faint but clear. Coming from downstairs. It bounced off the walls. Playful but wrong. We don't have kids that young. Lily's 12, and she was asleep. I crept to the stairs, gripping the banister. Outside, rain pounded the windows. The laughter stopped as I reached the bottom step. The house felt heavier, like it was holding its breath. One night, I heard Lily crying. I rushed to her room and found her curled up in bed, pointing at her closet. The door was wide open, and the air inside was freezing, my breath fogging up. I checked inside, nothing but clothes and boxes, but the air smelled like wet dirt and rotting grass. I told Lily it was just a bad dream. She didn't believe me. Neither did I. Mom started changing. She'd always been warm, talkative. Now she was quiet, staring into dark corners for hours. Sometimes, I'd catch her muttering in a low, gravelly voice, words I didn't recognize. Not English, not anything I'd heard before. When I asked her about it, she'd blink, confused, like she hadn't noticed. I started locking my door at night. I woke up one night to a shadow at the foot of my bed. It was Mom, standing there, still as a statue. I called her name, my voice shaking. She looked up, her eyes white, empty. Then she lunged, a guttural snarl ripping from her throat. I scrambled back, hitting the headboard. Sarah woke up screaming. Mom collapsed, gasping, like she'd been snapped out of a trance. She didn't remember a thing. We couldn't ignore it anymore. We called a local pastor, Father Michael. who agreed to visit. I told him everything: the farmhouse, the scratches, the whispers. Mom. His face darkened when I mentioned the farmhouse. He asked a question that stopped me cold. "Did you bring anything with you from that place?" I froze. My stomach dropped as I realized It was the mirror. An old, tarnished thing from the farmhouse's master bedroom. I'd thought it was just an antique, a cool piece to keep. I showed it to Father Michael, and his eyes narrowed. He told me about the Hollow Woman, a recluse who lived in that farmhouse a century ago. Locals said she practiced forbidden rituals, locking herself in a room with that mirror. When they broke in, she was dead, but her reflection lingered in the glass. They believed her soul was trapped inside. Some said breaking the mirror wouldn't set her free. He whispered. It would just unchain her. He looked at me, his voice heavy. "You didn't bring a mirror. You brought her?" Father Michael prepared a cleansing ritual. As he prayed, the air grew thick, oppressive. The mirror started to shake, cracks spiderwebbing across its surface. Dark liquid seeped from the fractures, pooling on the floor. I glanced into the glass and saw not my face, but hers gaunt, decayed, eyes black as voids. Her mouth moved, mouthing my name. I wanted to run, but I couldn't look away. I knew I had to destroy it. The thing in the mirror whispered, begged, then screamed threats in that same guttural voice. I grabbed the mirror, my hands shaking, and threw it to the floor. It shattered, the sound like a wail that shook the walls. The air lightened, like a storm had passed. For the first time in weeks, the house felt like ours again. We were free, or so I thought. Mom started to recover, her old self creeping back. We moved again, leaving everything behind: no keepsakes, no memories. We made a pact never to talk about it, to bury the nightmare for good. Sarah found a new job. Lily started smiling again. We built a new life, convinced it was over, one and done, forever. But last night, I woke up to someone calling my name. Soft, insistent. I crept downstairs, the house dark and still. Mom was there, standing in the living room, her back to me. I called out, but she didn't turn. Then she spoke, in that low, gravelly voice I'd hoped to never hear again. It's still watching us. I grabbed my keys and ran, heart pounding. As I drove away, I glanced in the rearview mirror. I don't know if I escaped. I don't know if I ever will. Sometimes, when I check that mirror, I swear I see her smiling.